Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
They using.
All right, another little reaction here. I know, don't cry. It's baseball. You know, whatever.
Dubster's yawning already.
Don't get up. Don't fall asleep. Don't get mad.
Oh, I'm about to say, wake me up in 20 minutes.
I got you.
And today we're talking about pitchers. I guess Ken Rosenthal is going to be doing it, or are these guys?
Yeah, he did a report on the health of pitchers.
Okay.
What about Ice-T?
Okay.
Who?
He
Like
went
who?
for pitchers. Get it? Pitchers hold
Kool-Aid?
Ice-T.
I like Kool-Aid. Oh yeah.
What if he's like?
What is he? He's like, do the something.
Who?
The Kool-Aid guy. He says, do the something.
I don't know.
No,
I thought he said, "Oh
he's,
yeah."
yeah, he just all right.
He does.
Oh yeah.
I thought he also said some other shit.
I think you're thinking of Mountain Dew, right?
Yeah.
The do.
Do the do. Okay.
Yeah, that's Mountain
Maybe
Dew.
you're right.
You're drunk, bro.
Actually, here's I'm gonna pitch this idea to Rob Manfred one day when I'm rich and famous. But hey, man, every time a pitcher gets a strikeout, let him do one line of coke. There you go. Baseball fixed. Baseball is now saved. To watch.
Who?
To watch Blake Snell overdose on the mound would be just amazing, wouldn't it?
Is he already a junkie?
No, but we can make him into one. Come on, it's dramatic. It's very dramatic.
His name's Snail.
Pitchers will start rolling the ball down the middle.
No, he throws a strike. He does a line. He does a line off a stripper's ass.
There you go. By the first inning, by the end of the first inning, they'll be fucking passed out and gone. There you go. You're keeping on a low pitch count right there. See?
A lot of noise.
All right, that's your review of this, right?
Hey, you're saving their arms when they OD. Now they won't throw their arms out. You know what I'm saying? Keep them on the pitch count. All right. Let's hear it, Ken. Here we go.
Eno wrote a great article about pitching injuries. Now, we talk about this all the time, and I know, as every team knows,
Let's get Tommy John for fun.
Time on the IL is the largest cost of any team because you lose all that time with these pitchers. Do you feel like your sense of all that you guys dug into, and you can hit on so many other things, but do you feel like your sense of teams is closer to the aspect of we don't want to get guys hurt because you interviewed the Rays in this too, or it's we want to get the most out of guys because you can't be 50-50 right down the line.
The Rays with the most out of their
Right
guys.
now, Eric,
100%.
there's no question that teams lean toward performance more than availability. They want to use these guys. They want them to throw as hard as they can for as long as they can, and come what may. That's the problem, actually, that pitchers are not backing off in any way. They are going full out all the time. And Dr. Keith Meister, who we interviewed for this story, he's the Texas Rangers team physician, the leading orthopedic surgeon, one of them in the game today. He cited the sweeper and the power change as particular problems. He says pitchers grip the ball with a death grip now, and they're trying to max out every pitch. That's the issue. And at some point, some teams are going to have to figure out a better way because we see this every single year. Pitchers go down, and it's not for any one reason. It's for a variety of reasons. Maybe the answer, and we allude to this in the article a little bit, is for people or pitchers and teams to start focusing more on location than just pure stuff. We know pure stuff has
Maybe?
incredible
You
value
think?
with what gets great.
Yeah.
Hold on,
You think?
pause.
You think, Ken?
That's why I wanted to play
What
this
does he mean by location? Like where he's throwing the ball?
Yes. Like,
Okay.
right, you're trying to hit
Kick the ball,
corners, high, low, inside, outside. You're trying to hit spots.
Be a pitcher. Like there's pitchers, Dubster, that means like they think about the game intelligently, how they want to maneuver what they have. And then there's guys I throw hard, so I'm going to throw hard,
Mm-hmm.
and they fucking tear their elbows. But he
I
goes
thought it
into
was
it.
shoulder was the most common thing. It's the elbow.
More
The elbow.
the elbow, yeah.
Okay.
And then compensating starts happening, and you start
Yeah,
injuring other parts of your
then your
body.
shoulder. Yeah, then your shoulder and your back go.
It can go the other way too, where you hurt your leg and then you start compensating and then
Yeah,
you fuck your
that's what
elbow up.
happened to Pedro. Pedro fucked his shoulder up like that.
But yeah, the teams are gonna want like it's different. I think there's probably the Yankee philosophy where it's like we try to win right now every year. We're trying to win outright. So we want when you're throwing for us, we want you to fucking dominate when you pitch as long as you can. A team like the Rays, a team like the Rays or smaller market teams, they're thinking of we can get a lot of picks for this guy, or we can trade this guy like when we can't re-sign them, right? Because they're gonna be if they're too good, they're gonna demand too much money, and we're not gonna be able to pay them. And yeah, go ahead.
No, fucking Ortiz told Batanzas like, "Yo, take care of your arm, bro. They're trying to run you down," and that's what they did. And he's like, "Damn." He's like, "Yo, I didn't listen to him at the time. He was trying to help me." Like, he's like, "Yo, they're ruining your arm, bro. Take care of your arm." He's coming in, like 80 times a season, bro. That shit's crazy.
Every eighth inning, here comes Dylan
Yeah,
Betances.
every if you have a lead or it's tied, he was up.
Now here's the thing. Now Mariano got away with this, throwing a good amount of game. Like ninth inning, it's guaranteed it's him, unless they're like losing or whatever, like circumstantial things. But he's
what was
coming
his
in.
repertoire?
So it was like pitching is hitting spots with a nasty cutter.
Yeah,
was his forte. Like the same pitch over and over and over again, and the same mechanics over and over and over again. That's what people like. As far as like baseball fans saw special about Mariano. Obviously, the general fan saw like, oh, he's on the Dynasty Yankees. He's the closer. Like he's the last guy you see at the end of the game, right? And he has all these saves, all-time saves and shit like that. But for the baseball fan that watched it, like he had his mechanics, he like replicated them like over and over every time.
Yeah,
and he wasn't really like overthrowing either. It'd be like I'm hitting spots, and then once in a while I'll ramp it up.
It was more about hitting spot than overthrowing.
Yes.
When he was younger, he used to overthrow.
Yeah.
And then he learned.
Pedro, same thing. Same thing with Pedro. Pedro learned how to like. Here's 93, 94 on the corners. Here we go, and then you got 2 strikes on you. Here's 97. Whap, and you're missing it because he's gonna throw gas. He's gonna throw it by you. Now, some guys just kept throwing hard, if I remember correctly. Someone like fucking like Randy Johnson, right?
So Verlander does.
But maybe his 98 miles an hour wasn't so demanding because of his size.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Clemens.
Clemens. Nolan Ryan. Yeah. What did James tell me? He was clocked at like 80 miles an hour on a first pitch for a game.
He was like 60 years old.
Like, that's crazy. What were you going to say?
I forgot.
Damn it.
Let's hear a little more.
Yeah, that's right.
As Eric Neander said in the article, location can make up for some of that loss
Greg
of
Maddux working
with the stuff if you are really good with that. And maybe the art of pitching needs to come back a little bit more so that.
And by the way, there's no excuse for this. You can't be like, well, if I turn my velocity down and I try to hit spots, they're just going to tear me up. Like, well, you have guys like Greg Maddux who pitched against better hitters in the steroid era, so they were more powerful too.
Yeah.
At least on paper, they were more powerful. They definitely hit more home runs and shit. So, yeah, you can't just be like, well, if I don't throw 98 every time, they're just going to hit home runs. Like, no. You can get by and shit. You can. You got to actually hit locations and throw intelligent pitches.
Yeah, like Stroman. That's how Stroman is.
Yeah.
That was low 90s.
Yeah, doing the Braves, Bryce Elder, he made the All-Star team this year.
Yeah, he's low 90s.
He's not throwing hard at all. Even though his location isn't that great, it's just better than most. And he can get, buffoons with a baseball bat in their hand swinging and missing.
Yeah.
Because that's what the hitters have become. They've become buffoons. They're not intelligent anymore. It's crazy. But all right, fine.
These guys aren't going down all the time. I will say this, and I didn't mention this in the story, but not only hard throwers get hurt, not only pitchers who throw sweepers and power changes get hurt, all pitchers get hurt. It's an industry-wide problem. MLB is conducting a study right now. They've interviewed more than 100 people so far, and eventually they plan or they expect to form a task force.
Task force are so stupid.
They've had people on this for a while now. They're trying, but behaviors have to change. And I don't know how you legislate that. It almost seems like it has to happen organically within organizations.
It does have to
It
happen.
seems to say, okay, we're going to look for something a little bit different here. We're going to stress availability, to get back to your question, Eric, as much as performance.
Now, because James talks about this as well, of the mechanics. Now, I don't know if there's some big distinction between old year mechanics and new era mechanics, to where these guys are just more prone to getting hurt because of how shitty their mechanics are. I'll consider that as a possibility. But then there's fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. There's a good point to this. Damn it. But yeah, mechanics are like, I think they do need to be. Look, I don't know about task forces. That sounds stupid. But
that's the problem. That's not even part of the equation. They're not even talking about mechanics.
Exactly.
They're literally talking about every other thing but that.
What Ken Rosenthal talking about is like something like scouting. Like, okay, we'll look for a guy who can throw a shit ton of innings, and we found him in college doing this.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, but if they don't know how that guy's doing it, what's the point?
Exactly.
And that's always something James made me understand. Like, it doesn't matter if you don't know how to fix somebody. Then how are you going to fix someone if you don't know how they were successful in the first place?
Exactly. Same can go for hitting with that. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, but definitely if we're talking about injuries with pitchers and hitters too a little bit, but mainly pitchers because of the funky things that they have to do on a pitcher's mound. Like 100%, these things need to be analyzed, and there's guys out there doing it. There are guys out there analyzing and saying, this is why this guy gets hurt. This is why that guy gets hurt. Right?
And you can see it a mile away.
Apparently, I can't really, like, I know some things, but there are guys who learn enough where they can just look at it and be like, okay, look at this guy, early trunk rotation, wherever the fuck, shit like that.
Yeah, but it's about optimizing weight transfer.
Yeah.
And putting your arm in an advantageous way that can be repeated over and over again.
Yes.
As opposed to putting it at a disadvantage, which is going to lead to injury.
Yes.
And it will, and if it may, it will. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
If it looks like it may, it most certainly will lead to injury. And then there's guys that you have good mechanics, but then you don't do the upkeep on your body with the doing certain certain exercises, also trying to keep inflammation down, like that whole Tom Brady shit, the TB12 shit. There's some truth to that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Recovery, like Trevor Bauer talks about that too. Like, you need to know what to eat, when to eat, because it all helps with the recovery process.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing the most, and the pitchers are doing the most, especially a starter, in the entire game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are doing the most athletic things in the entire game, over and over and over again. I mean, maybe the catcher's second place, maybe, maybe, but the hitter's getting like 4 at bats a game, and other times they're sitting in the fucking field, waiting for maybe the ball goes to them, maybe it doesn't. So, with such a demand rate of effort from the pitcher, that I'm surprised this shit hasn't been looked into before.
And it's like, yo, how do you have people up there that are they're just going through the motions. Like those are the kind of people you need to be the most aware, the most in tune with, like the fundamentals of the game, strategy, all that is the pitcher. And it's like, how do you allow players who are kind of dumb and mindless to be up there?
They probably look at strikeout numbers. Look at the strikes to walks ratio. That's our man right there. Draft him number 1 overall. Look at his velocity, like all that shit.
But I think like in the new age of analytics, like I feel like the whole mindset, the philosophy of analytics is looking for shortcuts to get to a certain
Yep.
destination that you used to have to take the long road and develop and
Yep.
and propagate. But anyway, like cultivate. That's the word. Like cultivate a certain type of player for that position. And now it's like, no, we're gonna. Oh, this guy throws hard. We'll just find 20 of him.
It's even majestic in a way when you look at a player like, wow, there's something special about that kid who's swinging the bat right there, or who's throwing the ball. Like I can't like the scouts used to be old school like that. Like, man, this kid can fucking play. Like, yeah, he's a little rough around the edges, but we can work him out and get him there. Like that probably was the old school mentality of a scout, to where they actually notice some intangibles and had an intuitive sense of someone having talent, and then they could fucking work off that. Not saying it's a fucking science or anything. I'm just saying, like, maybe there's something about that that's worth considering, instead of all. Because I don't want to turn to pure fucking mechanical shit either. Look at the external rotation. Like, I don't want to. Like, it's boring to me. First of all, second of all, I don't think it'll apply to like. Well, how are you gonna pick out a guy who might have the mentality of a Kobe Bryant, who, maybe not the greatest mechanics, maybe not the hardest thrower, but he's gonna find a way to get somebody out in a certain situation that leads to titles, that leads to money, that leads to getting better players, which leads to legacies and Hall of Fame and popularity, a name, all that shit. But if it just turned into pure robotic shit, which is the analytics, and pure robotic shit, which is strictly hardcore mechanics, like I think it can go downhill for a sport, man. You need some sort of majesticness to it. That's what baseball is all about, in my opinion.
Well, that's the point I'm going to try to make right now, where they're looking for people who have the talent, the talent to do it, and they're going to develop into the kind of players they want them to be, instead of looking for the player who has some of the tools, and just needs to be developed. They're like, no, this guy's not. He's 17. He throws 100. We'll try to do the best with him.
You know what they used to tell me when I was a kid, and I've been around like major leaguers, right? And yes, you can maybe consider it a campy thing that a parent or a coach says to a kid, but they were saying like, hey man, always run on and off the field, because you never know when a scout's watching. Like that idea of like, oh, this guy works his ass off type of thing was like probably somewhat of a thing, right? Obviously, someone just hitting fucking 400-foot home runs is going to be there, but if there's a guy hitting 400-foot home runs and he's also hustling on and off the field, he's not being a shithead on the field, right? He's not talking trash, he's not showboating, he's not grabbing his nuts as he rounds third base. Like, oh shit, this guy has character, and that's important for the sport. Like these old school scouts, I think, actually thought that way, kinda.
Well, it's a thing of. It used to be a period where excellence was actually excellence. Like enough was not enough, and it seems like today enough is more than enough. They put up with shit for the sake of getting a return quicker.
Yeah.
Like throwing a kid up there quicker with a higher upside.
By the way,
And then go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was making a joke point.
No, I was just gonna say oh, this kid has upside. Like explain to me what upside is. Like they probably couldn't explain to you what.
Yeah, no.
And that's who's running player development. That's who's running the decision making, and that's the problem. Which it all goes back. You're trying to punch numbers when there's a human element to it.
Yes. And then even to put some blame on the fucking older scouts of like, they're like, man, this kid got something, but these guys could never sit down and like work on defining what that is. Like,
Yeah.
he has a good eye. Like that's not good enough of an explanation for this. To where,
Well, it's like that reminds me of the Moneyballs. When they're like when they're giving like Brad Pitt the cliches, and Brad Pitt's like, "I'm sick of this shit." Like,
yeah. And just a quick side note, I was one of those kids who would grab his nuts running around third base. I would tank a ball like 420 feet and walk all the way to first base and then start jogging slowly. Like I was an asshole. But but that was when I didn't give a shit about the game at all. Like I didn't care about it. Once I started like really caring, I did all the hustle things. I worked extra hard during practices because I had a goal in mind. Like, oh, I want to play this shit for like a living. So that's when like the child went away and the grown man had to show up to where you start actually working hard. And if you can find scouts that can find people that are doing these things, that are not just physically like pump weights, but mentally thinking about what they're doing, like then those should be like obvious gems. But I don't know if people are looking for people like that anymore. I wonder if they're just looking in the weight room. He bench 500 pounds. All right, sign him up. He throws 98. Sign him up.
it's very who you know. It's a very who you know kind of thing right now.
Is there more? It's at the.
Yeah, a little. I think a little more, maybe like a minute or two more.
All right. We're gonna hear the response. There we go.
Availability, to get back to your question, Eric, as much as performance.
And it's funny that availability, turns into all of a sudden the velo. It's like that's one of the reasons why I didn't.
Holy shit! I played
I
against
didn't
this
play
guy.
anymore because
That's what's his name? He played third
Todd
for the
Frazier.
Todd Frazier,
Todd
bro.
Frazier.
I played against him. There you go.
Crazy. That's
Fucking,
crazy.
when we played Tom's River, yeah. Josie. All right,
Was he nice?
these guys, their whole team was shit on us, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I had the only hits in the game, and these guys, I was playing center field. This kid's like, I'm gonna fuck around and hit in a switch hitter today, and he hits it like 400 feet, bro, left-handed. Like he didn't bat lefty before. He just tanks it. I'm like, oh shit, we got fucking dumped on. God damn, that team was really good. They fucking dumped on us. But I had no idea that was him until I had no idea that was Todd Frazier until years later, when one of my old coaches told me like hey, I kept the scorecard. Like he had the scorecard, I kept it. That was Todd fucking Frazier, bro. I was like, oh shit, look at that. Yeah, I got some wild baseball stories, man. Danny Almonte, that's another crazy one. The little league cheater, Danny Almonte. I played against him. Yeah.
I think he got overweight, right? That's what happened.
Well, at that time he's my age. Danny Almonte
Okay.
is the same age as me, except
Yeah.
I was watching. Well, I was on the big field. I was watching him play on the little field when he was like dominating the Little League World Series. And then we played this team from fucking from Queens, and they come and just blasting Spanish music with the vans and everything. They come here, they fucking rout us too, bro. They shit all over us too. These motherfuckers look like they're 38 years old, bro. Just smacking home, bro. Like, what is going on? Are we like? I'm 15, by the way, at this time. I'm 15. Like, who the fuck are these guys? Who are these grown men?
Different, bro.
Well, it was a 19 under league, so I was young playing in the 19 under, and so
Yeah.
but these guys didn't look 19, man. They look like grown ass men, bro, full beards and everything. Like, bro, get me out of here,
They probably lied. They probably lied there too.
bro. El Monte hit a line. El
I'm
Monte hit a
15.
line drive at me. It almost took my fucking glove. I was at first base. It almost took my fucking glove off. He hit it so fucking hard. These are metal bats too, by the way.
Oh yeah, that's dangerous.
Oh my god, bro. These guys were fucking raking.
Grown man using metal bats.
I think I pitched that game too.
120 mile an hour fucking balls.
If I was ever gonna die like on a pitcher's mound, that would have been the day. It's just I just kept throwing high fastballs and they couldn't hit them, bro. I started probably throwing like at that age, probably like 78 to 80 miles an hour.
Nice.
15 years old, so I'm just like throwing high fastballs over and over. They just couldn't hit him. They had these big uppercut home run swings, so they couldn't touch shit. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm out of here. But yeah, I got some baseballs. But all right, here we go.
And it's funny that availability, turns into all of a sudden the velo. It's like that's one of the reasons why I don't play anymore, because of velo, because of the nasty movement, because of how hard guys throw. Now, if that was the
Oh,
case,
stop
being
it! You
Brad
could have
Pitt, I get to
adjusted,
come
you
in my cage here
dummy.
and work out a little more. I don't see that happening. But my question to you is about Tommy John surgeries. Used to be, you get Tommy John, you're good for the rest of your career. Now, in the article which you've written, all of a sudden now guys are getting Tommy John. The next thing you know, instead of 10 years down the road, maybe 3 to 5, as we've seen, they got to get another one. So what is that about? Is that because
That's real? I did not know that. You're getting
Yeah,
multiple
bro.
Tommy John surgeries?
Steven Matz has 3.
What the fuck? I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
was I was
bro.
thinking the way he was saying it, where it's like you get Tommy John, you end up throwing 5 miles an hour faster magically, and then you're done. That's it. These guys are doing multiple Tommy John surgeries. Holy shit.
Trying to think who has 2.
Holy fuck. It's like fucking like tit surgery, bro. Like, oh, they're sagging a little bit. Okay, let's go in there and repair them again. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's insane. That's crazy, actually. But I don't know. I guess they perfected the surgery to where they can
Yeah,
just do it over and over again.
Jacob DeGrom has 2.
That's crazy. And they're usually out for like a
The
year, right?
Dodgers have 2 pitchers right now. Walker Buehler, Dustin May.
And these guys are out
The
for like a year for that, right? A year and a half?
Jacob DeGrom's out till probably July of this year. Yeah, he got
Jesus.
it. He got Tommy John last year, his first year with Texas. He got Tommy John.
And what's the excuse for this? Like arm discomfort? Like where are they handing out
Um,
surgeries like that?
because these guys are throwing 100. Jacob DeGrom throws like 103, bro. He has no need to do that, but they can max out. That's what Ken Rosenthal's talking about. Like they're fucking trying to max out every pitch for some reason. But I think DeGrom is more physique and mechanics.
I thought he
But he
was
throws really hard.
yeah. I thought he was one of the good ones as far as location. And he also had velocity with it.
Dude, he's like 6'6", 180.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe these guys their legs get tired and they start trying to over pump with their fucking arms and they just fuck it up.
It's probably not it wasn't ideal to begin with. The way they throw.
This is some weird alien shit to me. I need to start getting back into baseball, I guess, like watching this shit. Oh, I watches the Braves, so like but
You're
maybe.
gonna fall asleep, bro.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
6'4", 180.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's
Are
a
you all
small
done
guy.
talking about basketball,
Yeah.
bitch?
He's like
Uh,
he's like my size in high school, bro. I'm 6'2", 170 something in high school, bro. Jacob DeGrom is only 2 inches taller and like a couple pounds heavier.
yeah.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy. Whatever. All right, here we go. Let's just hear Ken's response to this.
3 to 5, as we've seen, they got to get another one. So what is that about? Is that because of velocity?
That was a direct quote
Josie?
you're referring to from Dr. Keith Meister. That's what he said. It used to be you get one, then it was one every 10 years if you need a second one, and then it was 7 to 8, then it's 3 to 5, which is where it is now. It's all of the above when it comes to trying to figure out what the reason is. Velocity is certainly one aspect of it. Also, the breaking pitches more are being thrown than ever.
No,
before.
it's
Go back to the grip and
skipping the
pitch
mechanics,
grip
bro.
and
He
is
doesn't
great
know.
on
They
their arms
don't
than ever
know,
before.
man.
So you can assume that Ken Rosenthal, he's not just saying this off the top of his head. He's saying this from what people inside
Yeah,
baseball are saying.
physician. No, that physician too. But you have to wonder, what does a physician know about mechanics?
I could understand something like sliders and curveballs to where certain tweaks in your movement could really put pressure on your elbow. But something like a changeup, you just throw it like a fastball. So how the fuck are they getting fucked by throwing changeups? That's freaking me out. Maybe it's some other thing that they're doing. He's calling it a power changeup, so maybe there's some
Yeah, they
other.
all did like a splitter or something. Well, the splitter too, bro.
But they're kind of. It's just finger grips. It's not you don't change your elbow movements and shit like that. You just maybe they are for the sake of movement. Maybe they are doing that. That could be fucking them. But you shouldn't have to really torque your elbow to throw any of these pitches, honestly. But they might be doing it for the sake of getting a sense of more or trying to get more movement on the pitch, which can be detrimental, especially if you're throwing if your fastballs are 100 miles an hour, right? That means you're putting a lot of fucking pressure on your elbow.
Yeah.
Oh way. Seems like simple, like that'd be simply understood, but I guess it actually is rocket science. I don't know.
What position did you play when you played?
When I was younger, first base. When I was older, center field. Or outfield in general, but mainly center field.
Did you ever do pitching?
Yes, in high school, and I fucking hated it. I threw hard, but I hated it. I threw hard, relatively threw hard. I'm not like a 95 mile an hour fastball guy. Like no, like an 80 something fastball.
Oh my god.
What?
I got a video, but let's finish the video for this video.
Okay.
But let's finish this video.
Okay. Here we go.
The way pitchers grip them, there's more strain on their arms than ever before. So I would say when it comes to trying to figure out,
I need them to
cause,
show me
the best
the
answer is
biomechanics
the
proof
above.
of that.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good one.
Ken, so I'm sure you know
I didn't
where
mean
I'm
to do
going
that.
with this. What stands out to me is the average lifespan in a big league career for a pitcher under 2.7 seasons. Well, the major league average salary is sub $1 million. These dudes spend their whole lives getting to this point. They might shine for a few years and then their arm breaks and they disappear. So, how do you think the players, the talent, evaluate a situation like this that keeps turning into players with shorter shelf lives and not actually getting to be millionaires for being the best in the world at this sport, which is a whatever $15 billion sport?
Well, Scott, if you're a pitcher and your career is lasting an average of under 2.7 years, the average pitcher is not even getting to arbitration. That's alarming. And
Yep.
yet, we refer to this in the story as well. Most pitchers view injuries as an occupational hazard, and they kind of accept that this is part of it. And Alex
Was
Cobb was
that?
quoted at the end of the article.
So this is kind of the entire reason I wanted to make this video. He just said they view it as an occupational hazard. So do the clubs, but the clubs are fucking assholes. They they cultivate the culture of max out. We just need five. We just need 5 or 6 innings out of you, and then boom, like we're done with you, and bringing the bullpen. And then there's also problems with the bullpen arms.
Yeah.
And so when it comes time for a poor fuck like Blake Snell, who has 2 Cy Youngs, he just came off a Cy Young year. He's not wanted, and he's not gonna get a big contract because he spent his best years playing for cheap under the arbitration rules, and B now he's the almost a quintessential product of what's going on with the deterioration of developing pitchers, where he doesn't go for many innings. He's historically an injured pitcher, and
Yeah.
now he is being penalized for that by the same clubs that told him to do this shit. All 30 clubs would have told him to do exactly what he did in his career, and now they're penalizing him like, "Oh, you're not reliable." Because this guy's about to go into, oh, look who got paid this year, pitchers who are reliable. But it goes back for Ken Rosenthal. It goes back to, you can't tell me why they're reliable. I don't even think the clubs can tell you why they're reliable as far as they pitch innings. But you can't tell me why they pitch those innings.
It's got to be look at the strikeouts, right? Something like it's got to be a pop stat, right? Look at strikeouts.
No. It's innings pitched. Sorry, my bad. He's gonna get into
But they're
it.
not
But
throwing innings, right?
You're right, but as far as innings, as far as what we get now, these two actually did better
Hold
than
on.
most.
Hold on. He said the average for pitchers is like $1 million contract a year.
No, 700,000, some 800, something like that.
I thought
750.
pitchers were like the most paid player.
They
No,
are.
they are.
They are in certain instances, like Scherzer and Verlander.
So like
They get 40 million a
the
year.
top pitchers are, but the average of all the pitchers
Well, no,
brings it
Damn
way
near,
down.
damn near league
no.
minimum.
Now,
700,000.
now it's different, Dubs. Now it seems to be shifting, which is why I brought that guy up, Blake Snell. Blake Snell just won a Cy Young, and he pitched the most innings ever. It's not a lot of innings, but for him, it's a lot. It's 180 innings.
Yeah.
And he's only gone over 150 innings twice in his career. He's already had Tommy John twice.
So he worked his
And
ass off for that contract year, and now they're fucking him.
yes,
So
he had he had a .60 ERA from like August on.
Jesus.
how many
He
starters?
fucking good.
How many starters and relief pitchers are normally on a team?
A lot, dude. They're the highest amount of players on the team. They're more than position players. Like at least
15.
you can only have no, maybe not maybe 12 or 13 because you can only get 25 roster spots.
Yeah.
So
So
there's like,
you have to go to the margins. Like you got to bring as many
so
as you can.
you think there's like 400 or 500 pitchers in the league in a
I
year?
don't know the numbers. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure.
There's got to be more than that.
I think there's 600 players in the league, right?
There's got to be more pitchers than that. There's going to be like, got to be
I don't know the
out of a
numbers.
25-man roster, it's got to be 14 are pitchers, right? Am I tripping?
And
Yeah,
how many
something like
teams
that.
are there?
And there's like 30
30.
teams,
30
right?
teams.
So that's
Yeah.
fucking 300, right? Over 300
That's
something.
Yeah.
400. It add up to about 400.
Okay.
25 times 30 is 750. 750
wow.
players. So
Yeah.
yeah, about
5 times
350. About
Yeah.
300 or 350.
Yeah.
So half the numbers of the league.
Well, you also have to remember there's
Wow.
a 40 man. There's a 40 man too.
Oh, that's when they go and
I mean,
exploit young arms
yes.
in September. When they
They
exploit
bring up, they call. Well, no, and throughout the season too, they'll send people. Play the video because he's gonna get into it. My bad.
Okay.
Just play.
Okay.
He's gonna actually answer all these questions.
I've had every surgery you can imagine, but I got to the big stuff. And that's the trade-off that occurs. Now, you hate to hear that from any player. No one wants to see any player hurt. We want these guys performing at their best and their healthiest. But the way pitching has evolved, it's not like that. They have a certain shelf life, as you mentioned, and it's just really difficult for most pitchers to sustain long careers. You have to be successful, you have to stay healthy, and probably have a little bit of good luck on your side as well.
Doing this research, talking to people, do you feel like the teams are doing this? Because I'm kind of sometimes a naysayer. I'm looking at maybe
I'm already
the
saying yes
negative
to this
part of
question.
this. Are they doing this research to say, "Whoa, hey, we're not giving a pitcher a long-term deal," and
I'm already
the reason
saying
is,
yes.
look at all this research. Look at all the research we have. Guys are going to blow out. Anybody that throws this sweeper this hard, this
But
changeup
they
this hard
encourage
is going
them
to
to
blow
do
out
those
a
things.
Funko over 5 years.
Is that the most
Because
science they'll
there's a
do on
chance
this?
during that
He
time
throws
he
this
can lose the
pitch,
season
so
for
arm will get
non-pay.
hurt.
Eric, that should not be the intent of this study. That should not be what this is all about.
Can't
What this
believe.
should be about is injury prevention. There is an economic component to everything in the game. We know this. We talk about it quite frequently. I don't believe teams are seeing it that way. Dr. Keith Meister basically said he's talked to agents about this very
They gotta
phenomenon,
be seeing
and
it that way.
he
Yeah.
understands that there is an economic thing going on, and maybe it's the next man up mentality, and teams feel they can just cycle through arms. His point was there aren't enough arms to go around, and John Smoltz has made that point on many Fox broadcasts where we've been together. I would agree with that. You can't just keep blowing people out. There's not that many great arms
Pause.
in the world to sustain
Like
the
the what is
turnover
the
that's going on in
Moneyball
our game
tells us they
every
see it
single
that way.
Yeah.
Yes. And, well, that's more analytics than what he's talking. He's talking about velocity, like arms that can throw 100 miles an hour, like, and
No, but
they're
I'm
blowing
saying
those
like
arms out in 3 years. It's like, good God, that's
no. What
criminal,
I'm
actually.
saying is like what they did in Moneyball, how they like valued, traded everything to have a team like that. That was the attempt of like getting the price down for getting the
Yeah.
options to work
I
out.
agree with you, Dubster. The somewhere down the line, the reason they did that was it was to better the team, but now it's been perverted. Like, I'm not gonna say they did it, but it's been perverted from that iteration
Sure.
to lower contracts.
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
same time, with one thing feeds into the other. They want to lower contracts, and they're also giving you a shittier product. They are giving you shittier players. And they don't understand that they're selling a product, and if you sell an inferior product, you're going to get worse and worse returns.
Mm-hmm.
What do fans understand? 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and 400-foot home runs. So you double down on it. You double, triple down on that concept. Instead
And
of like, hey, just throw maybe
yeah,
94, but you're striking people out and you're getting people out and you're
and hey, maybe you don't have the best launch angle, but you hit 320.
yes, as
You
in
don't strike out over 50 times a season.
exactly serve the fans of the like. If you're gonna do some manipulating of your sport and shit, serve the actual fans of the sport. Don't try to grab new fans from it. Like, just let it organically happen, bro. The same thing's with the
Yeah,
NBA. Stop trying to reach out
because
past everywhere.
nothing baseball does is gonna make me want to watch baseball,
That's fine. That's fine, Dubser. You're
right?
Yeah.
lost.
No, but
Go down
I agree
swinging with
with
your
you.
best chance.
I agree with you is what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna change this shit up, change it for the people that actually want to watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
year. That said, it's undeniable that if you have a bunch of up-down guys you send to the minors, you just keep cycling them through and cycling them through, those are not players getting paid. Now, here's the interesting part of it for me, a paradox, and this might be another story down the line. Pitchers aren't being developed to last in both durability and within the course of a game, right? We see more 5-inning starters than we've ever seen before. And yet, who gets paid? Aaron Nola got paid. Why? Because he's an innings guy. Zach Wheeler got paid. Why? Because he's an innings guy. Blake Snell's still out there. Now, I'm not going to oversimplify it and say that's the reason. There are other reasons as well. But it's almost as if the game is talking out of two sides of its mouth. Won't let minor league pitchers develop durability within a game. Might not extend them during a game. And yet, that's who they value at the end of the day. Well, if you value that, develop that. And maybe you even get it before they're free agents. How about that?
That's a great
Oh, it's
point.
over.
Did you
Okay.
in all this?
Yeah. And that's I agree with that. If and it's more so I think like when pitchers when they or athletes you can feel your own body. You have body intelligence. You can feel when something's like this maybe being majestic about it, but you can feel when something's like not feeling right. Like is like my arm's sore. It's not injured, but I can feel like a particular type of soreness that if I keep going, it's gonna snap one day or something like that. I think athletes can feel those things to where if you're in the minors working on these things, like you can make adjustments, right? Instead of getting just Tommy John tomorrow, you fucking maybe take a week off or 2 weeks off or whatever and heal up and then Like, okay, how do I stop this from happening? Or maybe they start organically finding better mechanics. I don't know. Maybe. There's so many factors that I don't think are being explored for
No, they're
what
not
we're
being
what we're
entertained.
seeing here.
Nope.
Are pitchers taking steroids?
Dude, we've been down the
Everybody.
road. We've been down the road. Anyone could be on
Everybody.
anything. Yeah. But
Okay.
I don't like Ken fucking caping for teams. Like, come on, bro. You know it's good. Like, my financial reasons are a part of this. He kind of insinuates it, and maybe he can't just outright say it because he might lose access to these guys. But it's like
Well,
it's like come on, man. The writing's on the fucking wall with this shit. So I don't know. Baseball, your problems are much bigger than not enough home runs. Let's put it that way. So, or the game being too slow. Your problems are bigger
What
than
you
that.
need is cheerleaders.
Need skill, man.
That'll solve it.
Something no one else in the world can fucking do.
Cheerleaders.
That's what needs to be like. We are the best because no one can do what the fuck we do. But if I go grab fucking LeBron James and teach him some hitting mechanics and say, hey, go hit a fucking baseball, he might be able to do it. He's gonna strike out a lot, but no one cares about that, right? No one cares about that anymore.
I know.
He's gonna hit 220, but no one cares about that either. So maybe LeBron could. Instead of making it like a fear sport, was like, fuck, I can't do that thing. That's fucking crazy.
They need Taylor Swift at the 7th inning.
That's true. Like I said, after every strikeout, do a line of coke, and we'll see where the sports goes from there. Any last words from anyone?
No.
Death to baseball.
And I'm right there with you now at this point. I'm cheering for the death of it, so I could be reborn as something else. With it.
Basketball. It was a great sport.
Shut up. Yeah, give it something else. Give it something else to do. If we're just gonna go down this route over and over and over again. So. All right, another boring video about a sport that doesn't want my attention apparently, other than controversy and shame. All right, there's our reaction.